everybody, and welcome to WhatCulture Wrestling's hashtag Good After News. It is miserable outside, but it's bright and sunny and everything's great here in the WhatCulture studio, and we are back with yet more news for you to... How do you consume news?
I don't know, I'm still laughing
Knife
at you.
and fork for me.
Still laughing at you saying wrestling.
Wrestling. Coming up for you today, though, we have an update on Samoa Joe's suspension.
Lars Sullivan's future with WWE could be in jeopardy.
An updated WrestleMania card for all you sadists out there.
WWE set for a huge deal with Indian TV company.
But first, I'm Adam Cleary, this is Adam Nicholas, by the way. Wrestling Observer Radio today, Dave Meltzer has been on and he's been like, guess what's happening in WWE that's bad? And the whole world's been like, I have not got the hours in a day. And you went, well, specifically, it's the stock market's faith in Vince McMahon. According to insider reports, they continue to lose faith in the man running the company. Now, if you cast your minds back when they initially announced they were going to change the pay-per-view structure, that wiped $1 billion off the value of the company. But since then, not a lot's really changed. They did intend to have Q1 sewn up this year after having moved it all around. They were going to basically take things off the network and distribute them to other retailers. We heard that ESPN was mentioned, Fight TV was mentioned, but as yet, none of that's been confirmed. And everybody who's still got money in the company's like, well, what are you doing with all that? Because you said there was going to be a thing, there's still not been a thing. Now, another problem with this is the problem a lot of the investors have is that Vince said, the network's the most valuable thing we have. It's going to be a long-term source of revenue and it will give us the analytics we need to ensure that the viewership goes up and up and up and up and up and up. And over the last 6 years, they've lost half of the viewership and nobody really knows what's going on there. Then of course they fired Barrios and Williams, didn't they? Who'd been credited with really reinvigorating the company from a business standpoint and never explained why they'd done that. So every major investor who currently has a lot of money tied up in WWE is wondering how much longer they can afford to have their money tied up in WWE.
And I think the worrying part there is not like just me or you. We've got like a couple of tenors in there. This is like big money.
Have you got a couple of tenants?
Yeah,
you got stock?
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about the only stock I've got, mate. It's gravy. But it's not like that's playing with small numbers here. These are people who've chucked a lot of money into WWE, and Vince, he's not playing fast and loose. If anybody can say I've got a good track record with these things, Vince McMahon's probably a guy, minus the first edition of the XFL. But he's trying again, who knows? I don't know, it's a funny time for them, isn't it? Because there's a lot of moving parts and they haven't landed anything specific yet.
Apparently the big cause for concern has been these new TV deals they've got in the UK and abroad, of course. As we know over here, they've moved from Sky Sports to BT Sport, and the rumours, or at least the reports initially, were that this is good business for us, we're going to get a lot of money for it. And now that the money has materialised, it's not been quite as financially rewarding for the company as previously indicated. So everybody who has put money into the company on the basis of this has now been like, that's
not what you said.
I've got money in this, Vince, so...
I've read the brochure, and that's not what they said.
Financially speaking, obviously WWE is currently set up to the point where it cannot fail. Its Fox TV deal and its international endeavours ensure the short-term future of the company for probably a little bit longer than the short term, but thinking a little bit further ahead than that, things are not looking rosy in the garden of Vince.
No, and speaking of not looking rosy, Adam Cleary, let's move on to our next story today, because Lars Sullivan's future in WWE is not exactly looking rosy.
Good segue that, because Lars looks nothing like Rosie.
He doesn't look anything like Rosie. Completely different people. Well, if you squint, no, it's not going to work. But as it happens, obviously, as you remember, Lars Sullivan, he had a bit of a funny 2019, didn't he? We'll get into all of that in a second, but the main thing, it's not really the main physical thing that happened to him, was he had reconstructive knee surgery back in June last year, I believe it was. And a lot of people are thinking, well, now, theoretically, it's probably about the time that after surgeries and after rehabs and stuff, he should be on the way to coming back to WWE. This story, I should say, comes from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. But you'd think, if he was on his way back, there'd be a lot of talk, wouldn't you? He'd be like, oh, what are we going to do with Lars? Maybe we've got a plan for him. Maybe
a lot of questions.
We mention him, what's going on? A few questions.
A couple of questions
we'll get to them in a second, but as it happens, it says, apparently according to Dave, Lars hasn't been mentioned at all of late backstage, and nobody has talked about him in months. Now, obviously, that is just a tidbit. It's not a great depth of information there, but considering Dave Meltzer's got so many ears to the ground backstage in WWE, it's weird to think, I know he's only got 2 years, but it's weird to think that nobody has really mentioned Lars Sullivan recently. Now, obviously, let me just rattle off the few of the things that happened for Lars last year.
Oh, this would be good.
Because wasn't great. Obviously, we've mentioned reconstructive knee surgery. That was the least of his worries, unfortunately, because he had his very problematic messaging board history got brought back up, including rather filthy, horrid comments towards Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of his billionaire boss, which in the end he ended up getting fined $100,000 for, which I should point out wasn't fined initially, but then it was almost like Vince did it because he wanted to show people he'd done something, but he was probably going to let him off with that. About his own daughter. Let's move on, shall we?
Probably agreed.
Obviously, I've mentioned the knee surgery as well. There was a few in-ring things that happened in terms of like a few botches, a few nasty bits. People were getting very bored of his repetitive matches. But all in all, the cherry was on. I don't know if it was this year. I think it might have been late last year, technically. Obviously, the footage came around of his previous in the industry of adult filmmaking, which just kind of put the nail. It's maybe not put the nail in his coffin, but it really hasn't helped his case, and Vince is probably thinking, this is a lot of things now that's happened, and what do I have back for you in ring? Because obviously he had the anxiety attacks as well, which prevented his debut. It's all a bit of a mess for Lars.
I'm going to melt your face here, right? It's not even been a year since we sat in that stadium in New York and watched him stick Kurt Angle on Raw.
Oh God,
that was a Raw after Mania. It's not even been a year.
Is it not?
Not even been a year.
That's true.
I think you've done him a kindness by bundling loads of stuff into the message board history rather than individually picking out all the people
this is supposed to be a 10-minute news. It couldn't be a 10-day news.
Oh God! All the best to you, Lars.
We'll have to wait and see what's happening with Lars there, but not looking great so far.
Speaking of moving swiftly on, Samoa Joe is currently under a 30-day wellness policy suspension, and we don't know the specifics of that yet. A lot of people have got a lot of opinions about it. I wouldn't like to dare comment, but regardless, he's going to be out of the picture until the week before WrestleMania, because in amongst the many graphics they displayed at Super Showdown last night, 36 days until WrestleMania, 35 now of course, was perhaps the most striking one of the lot. There is potential for Samoa Joe to return for WrestleMania, but as it stands, we simply don't know what is happening there. But if you cast your minds back to the initial announcement, WrestleVotes, who we do normally say take with a pinch of WrestleVotes, but credit where it's due, have been a lot more accurate recently, said that Samoa Joe was going to get suspended for the wellness policy. And then he didn't, and of course they were forced to issue a retraction and apologise, and obviously made them look a bit bad in the process. But then lo and behold, 2 weeks later, there is that suspension, so they were proved right in the end. Now, Meltzer has speculated that the reason for these reports initially emerging but nothing actually happening was that he failed the wellness policy and was going to be suspended, but then got concussed before that had gone through, so they decided to wait until his concussion had finished. So he wouldn't have been on TV anyway because he was injured, so they decided to wait until they would actually be suspending him from something that he would feel the impact of. It's a bit like when you get like a big suspension in a game of football, but you get injured anyway. Yeah. So they're like, well, the suspension should start from when he's back. But actually, so it's kind of like
that. I guess in a weird way, is the concussion better? Has it worked out for him or not worked out?
I would rather be suspended with full pay than suffer a concussion. I will hold my. I don't mind sticking my neck out on that one. I would rather just get to go home for a month.
If you're going to get a concussion. Interesting though that obviously these things are like WrestleVotes in particular. We probably owe them an apology as well, as we said, "Oh, I can't believe they chucked that out," and they actually got it right in the end. Lots of this happening at the moment with the wellness policy. Are they getting more strict with it?
Andrade, of course, Bobby Roode not long before that. Don't know whether it's simply more strict policies coming in, or the policy they do have being better enforced, or simply just superstars disillusioned with life in the company, not really caring. Now, obviously the trophy as well, the Dusty Cup trophy, that's currently in a 30-day suspension as well for partying too hard. Stallion Cup, couldn't resist himself.
Oh my word. It's a great storytelling on that show, isn't it? Shall we move on?
Yes, please.
Because speaking of television, WWE are set to get themselves
the best one you've ever done.
Set to get themselves a massive potential TV deal in India. Now, we should go through the specifics. Again, this is Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. Apparently, they are on the verge of signing a bumper TV deal with India because the current one they have expires this year, I believe. And as it stands, let's just give you some of the numbers that's being chucked around. Now, we've just talked about how the stock market for them is a bit funny at the moment, and their investors are a bit concerned. So, the current deal that they get from Indian TV is $34 million a year they currently get. Now, the proposed thing that they could be eventually bumping up to is $60 to $61 million a year.
That's
which
a lot more.
Sounds a lot more. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? However,
I wouldn't say no.
A big caveat here is that WWE were projecting a much, much bigger number.
Oh, no.
They were expecting, on their original estimate, do you want to have a guess?
$1 billion.
Close. No. $125 million they were anticipating, which, for anybody who's reasonably good at maths, is double and a bit more to what that would, well, obviously, that's half of what they're actually going to get.
I'm just going to throw my hands up here. I always get slightly confused because isn't the American billion one number down from our bill? Because isn't it in Britain, isn't it 100 million is a billion?
Do you know what that sounds like? Something for the comments
Something for the comment section, but in America it's 1,000 million.
1,000, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because when I was like, because when you scoffed at me saying a billion, I was like, well, that's more.
It's actually, hang on, you fool.
I think that's that way around.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess
if we ever read the comments, I guess we'll know. As Dave Meltzer also says here, is that this is unlikely to significantly affect the stock market price because of the expectation that it was going to be much higher. So this, while is obviously still an increase, not quite what they might have been looking for.
That's kind of the tail of the tape throughout this entire news story. Financially, things have under-delivered, and for all it looks like, the groundwork beneath their feet was unshakable from a money perspective, that their entire future was built on paves of platinum gold. It now turns out that it's, what have we got here? Why? It's lumping molten crap.
I just like to think that in the offices of WWE at the moment, on repeat is just the theme tunes for both Curb Your Enthusiasm and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Just on a loop. And everyone in the office is just like slowly but surely losing the will because they don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, speaking of not knowing what's going on anymore, we can officially update the card for WrestleMania this year for anybody who's still got any interest in it whatsoever.
Come on, it's Friday. Let's end this last one with a real enthusiasm and a bang.
We all thought, we'd all been sold on it, hadn't we? We all thought that Ricochet was going to beat Brock Lesnar and face Drew at WrestleMania. We all thought that was going to happen. But sadly, the match lasted less time than, not even the promo package, I think less time than the pew-pew noise Ricochet has on the ramp. So it is going to be Brock Lesnar facing Drew Galloway at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. That much we knew anyway. Of course, the NXT Women's Championship will be on the line. Charlotte's going to be taking on Rhea Ripley. And of course, Becky Lynch will face the winner of the Elimination Chamber match. Of course, Sonya Deville's in that. We're all expecting her to do it. But unofficial matches which don't yet have their graphic on WWE broadcasting, but we can all take as read, read as follows. Now, what I'm going to need you to do, my pedigree chum...
Can I hype it?
Not hype it. I need you to perform. You need to be a living emoji for this.
Come on then. Hang on.
So one still face for every single match, right?
Hang on.
Ready? Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. John Cena versus The Fiend. Universal Champion Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's the best one so far. AJ Styles versus the winner of the Turquoise Trophy, The Undertaker. That actually happened. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, that'll just be a thing. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, that'll just be a thing. And Randy Orton versus Edge. Can you believe they're not sold out?
I know. I can't imagine why.
Ticket sales
We've told you already. It's because they haven't put Triple H on the card.
Yet.
That's
they
why.
haven't put Triple H on the card yet.
The big rating saver to swoop in and take it all and rise up and squash some young talent as well. Why not? Are you even, if we put all the matches together from AJ Styles, Ricochet,
to rank them,
and Bray Wyatt, they're 3 matches together, right? Would, like, not including the fact that Styles was in the big long part of the match, I just mean his little bout bit with Undertaker. I wonder how long that is together and how many matches in WWE history have been longer than those 3 matches
Good
put
job
together.
at pushing that new talent. Anyway, I can safely say, the thing that gets me about all this, right, and as much as I love to be like, oh, did you know I used to work for a wrestling promotion? The thing about WWE is up until AEW...
It's time for another episode of Remember WCPW.
With the exception of AEW now, probably, and to a lesser extent New Japan, WWE is the only wrestling promotion in the world that can forward plan as much as it likes because it hasn't got to worry about its talent getting pinched. Now, yes, you can't help injuries, you can't help these acts of God, but by and large, you can sit the day after WrestleMania and go, what do we want next year's WrestleMania to be?
Yeah.
Should we maybe start building towards that now? Maybe lay some of the long-term storytelling groundwork, maybe do stuff like that. And yet, they get to a Saudi Arabia show 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks, 5 weeks before WrestleMania and go, yeah, you know we've done all that work building up the Fiend. Should we just bury him? Should we just put the title on a 53-year-old man instead?
Do you know what this is? And it feels fitting because you've got a yellow hoodie on, so this feels like I can tie it all together quite nicely. This is, you remember Ali G, right? In the film Ali G, where he's in the Prime Minister's office and he's got the little button. He's going, can we just blow some up? He's like, you can't blow some up. He's like, nah, please. I'm gonna swear. So whoever's editing this, here it comes. Oh, please, just some teeth, you like Wales. And then he's like, no, he can't. Well, this is Vince hovering over the top going, oh, come on, I really want to self-destruct the feed. Come on, just let me do it, please. And like, have a whack in his hand, like, no, Vince. And it's like, you know what it is? Sod you guys, I'm the boss.
We said on the stream, right after The Undertaker won that gauntlet match, like, can you imagine being on the flight over and somebody from like management comes in with like the run sheet? It's like, right, so what we're going to do, Truth, actually, you might as well do this while we're here, Andrade, Bobby,
Lads.
Eric, can you just come over here a second? Truth's going to beat all three of you clean in the start, then Styles is going to come out. Obviously, we've shot that thing with Ray the other week on Raw, so you haven't got to worry about doing that. Bit on the screen, and then Mark, can you just come down, choke slam him? Doesn't matter if you drop him a bit, it doesn't really matter. Nobody expects it anymore. Can you just drop him, and then that's you going to win that trophy? And Styles just being like, yeah, all right, okay, cool, that's fine.
You want to smoke that belt?
Styles going over to somebody. Can you believe what they're getting me to do on this? They're having me. I've got a job to The Undertaker in the middle of this gauntlet match. Can you believe they're having me do that? And whoever's sitting next with goes,
yeah.
Have you seen the script Bray reads at the minute?
Going, what's the matter with him? He's just crying in the corner.
Guarantee you any money Bray Wyatt got in the toilet of that airplane and literally cut an old Bray Wyatt promo in the mirror like, they just don't get you, man.
Nah, it wasn't.
They got no idea what they're doing with you, man.
Nah, the promo he really cut was, as he looked at himself in the mirror,
Cody?
just run!
And on that note, that has been today's good afternoon. Just ran way over, who cares? Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I got 3 of those words in the wrong order.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Just do all
Go
3 of them
find
anyway.
your loved ones this weekend, give them a big old hug and tell them they matter to you because
that's nice, isn't it?
who knows, Vince McMahon could explode your life at any given moment. In the meantime though, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This has been Adam Nicholas. Where can we get you on
Thank
Twitter?
you. I have been Adam Nicholas. You can get me, believe it or not, at It's Adam Nicholas. And this has been not Ali G, it's been Adam Cleary. Where can I get you on Twitter?
At Adam Cleary, CLERY, keeping it real in it, etc. This has been your good afternoon, and we will. Oh, can you do it? Can you do the finger snap?
I used to be able to.
We will see you soon. Ah!